When my officer husband Shen Xiaoxing slapped me to the ground, I was 3 months pregnant. For the sake of his lifesaver, Song Kua, after 8 years of wholeheartedly doting on Shen Xiaoxing, I suddenly woke up. I calmly went to the hospital and terminated the pregnancy, severing the last tie with Shen Xiaoxing. A year later, Shen Xiaoxing finally remembered me, his so-called wife who had been pregnant. I was reborn on the day my officer husband, Shen Xiaoxing, used all the money I had saved for childbirth to buy appliances for his savior, Song Kua. Watching the large color TV, refrigerator, and washing machine being moved into the neighboring Song Kua's house, I suddenly realized that the money I had saved for childbirth had disappeared. It felt like a bolt from the blue. I went to find Shen Xiaoxing to ask for an explanation, only to see Song Kua delicately collapsing into his arms. I stepped forward and questioned Shen Xiaoxing about where my money had gone. Song Kua, nestled in his arms, replied in a delicate voice, "Xiaoxing gave all the money to me to buy appliances. He came carrying bags of gifts, wanting to see me and his child," looking at Song Kua's smug face. I was furious to the extreme. How can you be so shameless? You don't earn money yourself and only think about spending others' money. I laughed. You divorced me and married another woman. Why should I keep your child to disgust myself? Song Kua cried until her makeup ran, looking pitiful, while Shen Xiaoxing's eyes turned red with anger, forcing me to apologize. At 1001 hash, how could I possibly apologize? Ever since Shen Xiaoxing transferred Song Kua to the military district to be his confidential secretary, everything had turned upside down. I've been reborn. Shen Xiaoxing frequently went to help Song Kua, and it was common for him to assist her with buying rice and flour. Song Kua had a headache and a fever, and Shen Xiaoxing would come at her beck and call. Even in the middle of the night when it thundered, Song Kua could wrap herself in a blanket, knock on the door, and take Shen Xiaoxing away to accompany her. As for me, his wife of 3 years, Shen Xiaoxing treated me like air. Anger and grievance filled my heart, especially when I saw Song Kua shamelessly throw herself into Shen Xiaoxing's arms right in front of me, his wife, as if to provoke me. I grew even angrier. As soon as I finished speaking, Shen Xiaoxing suddenly stood up and slapped me hard across the face. I was knocked to the ground by that slap, and my head hit the cabinet in Song Kua's home with a heavy thud. It turned out that Shen Xiaoxing didn't just give all the money I had saved for childbirth to Song Kua to buy home appliances. Witnessing such intimacy between my husband and another woman, I trembled with rage. He even gave the apartment allocated to me by my workplace to Song Kua. I cried and made a scene, but it was all in vain. Song Kua is malicious and despicable, scheming against me at every turn, and Shen Xiaoxing, who had always sided with Song Kua, once again fell into her trap. Using the excuse that his elderly and frail parents needed care, he sent me back to his hometown thousands of miles away to look after them. Shen Xiaoxing's official position grew higher and higher. Yet he never once thought of bringing me back. It wasn't until his parents passed away one after the other that I went to find Shen Xiaoxing, only to realize that I had long since had no connection with him whatsoever. After sending me away, he couldn't wait to marry Song Kua, and he held a grand wedding for her. He and Song Kua have been together day and night, sharing eternal love, since Song Kua cannot bear children. The child I gave birth to and raised with great effort became their child. When I, aged and haggard, came looking for them, Shen Xiaoxing avoided me, and Song Kua brought my biological son to see me. Dressed in jewels and finery, Song Kua threw a stack of money at me as if I were trash. Mu Nian Nian, all these years, Xiaoxing has only been using you as a free nanny. I am his rightful and legal wife, so get lost and go back to where you came from. Scenes from my past life and the present alternated in my mind. I lay on the ground, staring straight at Shen Xiaoxing and Song Kua. Perhaps the hatred and fury in my eyes were too intense. Shen Xiaoxing, who had been busy comforting the weeping Song Kua, finally spared a moment to glance at me lying on the ground, bleeding. Seeing my swollen cheek and the blood flowing from my forehead, Shen Xiaoxing froze. He finally remembered that I was a pregnant woman. Shen Xiaoxing let go of the sobbing Song Kua and came to help me up. Shen Xiaoxing didn't leave, but instead helped me up from the ground. You're bleeding. Let me take you to the hospital to get it treated. At that moment, Song Kua suddenly collapsed softly onto the ground. Seeing Song Kua faint, Shen Xiaoxing immediately let go of me and rushed toward her. "You shameless couple, full of deceit and illicit affairs, I'm going to report you to the military leadership. Kua, Kua. What's wrong? Wake up. Do you not know that Kua has a heart condition and can't be agitated? It's all your fault." He lost his temper and yelled at me, then raised his voice to call for the guards. Shen Xiaoxing, his face full of anxiety, rushed out holding Song Kua in his arms. His guard Xiao Li, hearing the commotion, immediately drove the car over. Shen Xiaoxing got into the car holding Song Kua and immediately ordered the guard to drive. Completely forgetting about me with my bleeding forehead. In the previous life, after Shen Xiaoxing hit me, he similarly ignored my bleeding and only cared about Song Kua, who was pretending to faint. Blood gushed out, and as I lay on the ground, an unbelievable experience flooded my mind like a tide. Furious and resentful, I rushed to the hospital and caused a scene. The consequence of my actions was that Song Kua suffered a heart attack and had to stay in the hospital for half a month. At 1001 meanwhile, I was placed under house arrest by Shen Xiaoxing. Because I was pregnant, Shen Xiaoxing didn't confine me to a room, but he did assign guards to watch me around the clock. The guard named Xiao Li was from the same hometown as Song Kua and was completely on her side. By the time Song Kua was discharged from the hospital, I was so hungry that I looked completely emaciated, nothing but skin and bones. Xiao Li said I was on a hunger strike and refused to eat or drink. And Shen Xiaoxing believed it. I loved Shen Xiaoxing so much that when I heard he wanted a divorce, I was immediately terrified. To prevent Shen Xiaoxing from divorcing me, I no longer dared to cause any more trouble, but my tolerance didn't change anything. Song Kua kept provoking me every few days, showing off how much Shen Xiaoxing cared for and liked her. I was so angry at Song Kua's words that I inevitably got into another argument with her. In the countryside, I endured hardships, bore children, and cared for his parents, longing day and night for our reunion. Song Kua set me up once again. Song Kua was hospitalized again, this time claiming that I pushed her and injured her uterus, making her unable to have children ever again. I explained to Shen Xiaoxing that I didn't push Song Kua and that she was falsely accusing me of staging the incident, but Shen Xiaoxing didn't believe me. He told me that I was facing jail time for intentional injury. I was terrified. And later Shen Xiaoxing came to me again and said he had pulled some strings so I wouldn't have to go to jail. Shen Xiaoxing asked me to go back to the countryside to take care of his parents, saying he would bring me back after I gave birth and things settled down. We had already divorced and become strangers from the moment he sent me back to the countryside. I had no choice but to agree to Shen Xiaoxing's suggestion. On the day I left, Shen Xiaoxing made me sign an apology agreement. I believe Shen Xiaoxing signed the so-called apology agreement and was then sent to the countryside by him. Initially, I planned to return to Shen Xiaoxing's side after giving birth, but his mother suffered a cerebral hemorrhage and was bedridden, requiring care. To fulfill my filial duties on behalf of Shen Xiaoxing, I had no choice but to stay in the countryside. Over these 30 years, Shen Xiaoxing only returned a few times to visit his parents. The so-called apology agreement I signed back then was actually a divorce agreement. Shen Xiaoxing married Song Kua and obtained their marriage certificate less than 3 months after sending me to the countryside. He even held a grand wedding for Song Kua. I will abort the ungrateful bastard in my womb. Since Shen Xiaoxing wants a divorce, I'll grant him his wish. To secure some benefits for myself first, the money I had saved for childbirth has already been taken by Shen Xiaoxing and given to Song Kua to buy home appliances. There's not much money left at home now, but next month is Shen Xiaoxing's birthday, and I've prepared a watch for him as a birthday gift. Also, when Shen Xiaoxing and I got married, I happily prepared a pair of gold rings. Shen Xiaoxing thought they were childish and never wore his ring, which now conveniently allows me to sell the rings. My own flesh and blood, my son, also said, "Mom, look at what you've become. You're no longer worthy of Dad. Take the money and leave. I'll send you money every month for your retirement, but on one condition: never show your face in front of our family again." The top priority now is the apartment allocated by my workplace. In my previous life, Shen Xiaoxing directly gave that apartment to Song Kuo, but this time, such a good thing won't happen again. My whole life turned out to be a joke, serving as a stepping stone for others. The man I deeply loved treated me as a free maid, and even my own son despised me. Overwhelmed by rage and grief, I spat blood and died from sheer anger. Shen Xiaoxing and I have been married for 5 years. And I still haven't gotten pregnant. Because of this worry, I often visit the doctor. She asked me to get Shen Xiaoxing's signature for the surgery. After all, Shen Xiaoxing is now the leader, and if I rashly abort Shen Xiaoxing's child without his signature, she would be implicated and face disciplinary action. On the way back, I was thinking about how to get Shen Xiaoxing to sign. In my previous life, Song Kuo falsely accused me of pushing her and causing damage to her uterus, making her unable to bear children. Because of this, Shen Xiaoxing divorced me and married Song Kuo. In this life, I won't wait for Song Kuo to plot against me first. I will take the initiative and make this accusation a reality, forcing Shen Xiaoxing to divorce me. Shen Xiaoxing didn't return until 9 o'clock in the evening. By then, I had already eaten my fill, washed up, and was lying in bed. A clear handprint was visible on Shen Xiaoxing's face. Needless to say, I was the one who had slapped him. At this moment, Shen Xiaoxing glared at me with a livid expression. Mu Nian, have you gone mad? Having known Shen Xiaoxing for 10 years, I had always been gentle, considerate, and attentive toward him. Hatred filled my heart, and I used all my strength to push away his helping hand. Shen Xiaoxing's mood after being suddenly slapped can be imagined. Get lost. Shen Xiaoxing naturally wouldn't believe my explanation, and I had no intention of making him believe me either. At 1001 hash, he fumed angrily. I just wanted to see how badly you were hurt, and you actually pretended to be crazy and hit me. Mu Nian, you really are something. Seeing that I wasn't speaking, Shen Xiaoxing's face grew even more annoyed. You went to sleep without waiting for me, and you didn't even make dinner. I thought you weren't coming back. As for dinner, didn't you have it with Song Kuo? Don't you often have dinner together? Didn't you hear me tell you to get lost? A sheepish expression flashed across Shen Xiaoxing's face. I shouldn't have hit you today. I was so angry and flustered in the heat of the moment. To be honest, you were also too extreme today. You clearly know I was just helping Song Kuo out of gratitude, and you clearly know she has a heart condition, yet you still said those things to her. If it weren't for your nonsense, why would I have resorted to violence? I was just too angry earlier. This whole thing is your fault. Let's go to the hospital first to treat the wound, and we'll talk about apologies later. He was continuing to hold me accountable. I stared coldly at Shen Xiaoxing's handsome face. Ignoring my struggles, he forcibly picked me up in his arms, preparing to take me to the hospital. Seeing that I remained silent, Shen Xiaoxing softened his tone. Kuo was wronged because of you. You should go find her tomorrow, admit your mistake, and apologize. Then we can consider this matter over. Borrowing must be followed by returning. Pay back everything you borrowed from me before. Shen Xiaoxing's expression became extremely awkward after being repeatedly confronted by me. His salary had long been depleted. Some went to his parents, some to Song Kuo. Otherwise he wouldn't have needed to use my money. Shen Xiaoxing proactively reached for my hand, trying to coax me with affectionate tenderness. I shook him off abruptly. Shen Xiaoxing, let's make this clear. Helping Song Kuo is your business. I won't interfere anymore. But you must return every single cent of my money without touching a penny. Before, when he used my money, I never said a word, which made Shen Xiaoxing take it for granted. Now, seeing how serious I was, he rubbed his nose and said, Nian Nian, we are one as husband and wife. There is no such thing as one as husband and wife. From now on, if you want to repay a favor, I won't stop you. I promise I won't go and cause trouble with Song Kuo anymore. Nor will I comment on your interactions. There's just one thing. Return my money to me. Shen Xiaoxing stared at me intently and asked, What do you mean? Xiao Li, drive her to the hospital immediately. Literally, from now on, we each go our own way. If you want to take care of Song Kuo, you do it yourself. Don't drag me into it. I have no responsibility or obligation to help you take care of Song Kuo. In the past, every time I got angry and made a scene, As long as Shen Xiaoxing said a few soft words to coax me, I would immediately make up with him and things would go back to how they were. This sudden change, so different from before, made Shen Xiaoxing's expression darken. Mu Nian, do you know what you're saying? You're a military spouse. Helping those in need is what you should be doing. Then why haven't I seen you caring about other people in need? There are plenty of people around here who are worse off than Song Kua and need help. Why aren't you helping them? Being rebutted by me like this, Shen Xiaoxing lost all face. With a dark expression, he sneered coldly. The car roared away, and I wiped another trickle of blood from my forehead before staggering back to the house next door. What are you making a fuss about again? I've already said there's nothing between me and Song Kua. She saved me back then, and I was just repaying her. Facing the mirror, I bandaged my bleeding forehead and quietly began to recall my past life. I've heard this so many times my ears have grown calluses. I cut him off directly. Enough, I'm not interested in your affairs with Song Kua, and I won't care about them anymore. I only have one demand. Return my money to me. How can I return money that's already been given? Stop making a scene. Let me tell you, I know exactly what's bothering you. You're jealous, aren't you? How many times have I explained this? Why won't you listen? Shen Xiaoxing was already very impatient, his tone much more serious. Mu Nian, you'd better put away your little schemes. I will continue to help Song Kua. If you don't listen and keep causing trouble at home, don't blame me for being heartless. I will divorce you. In my previous life, Shen Xiaoxing used divorce to threaten me, and I was terrified to death, afraid that he would abandon me. Afraid that I wouldn't receive his love in this life, knowing that Shen Xiaoxing's love would never be mine, that it would only ever go to Song Kua. What is there left to hesitate about? I nodded without hesitation after he finished speaking. All right, let's get a divorce. My agreement to divorce left Shen Xiaoxing in disbelief. He looked at me as if he had seen a ghost. Mu Nian, are you sure you want to divorce me? I'm sure, I nodded firmly. We'll go get divorced tomorrow. But before that, you have to return all my money. Money again. Are you obsessed with money? Is money all you care about? Shen Xiaoxing asked me through gritted teeth. Yes, all I see is money. He feigned compliance while acting contrary, deceiving superiors and subordinates alike, treating me with great harshness. Giving me only one meal a day, 2 hard buns and cold water. Shen Xiaoxing didn't believe that I really wanted to divorce him. You're simply unreasonable. Let me tell you. Mu Nian, don't think that just because you're pregnant you can do whatever you want. I'm not doing whatever I want. The child isn't an obstacle. As long as you sign, I'll go to the hospital tomorrow to get rid of the baby. Seeing my resolute expression, Shen Xiaoxing took a few steps back. Mu Nian, have you gone mad? How can you even say something like not wanting the child? My resolute attitude towards divorce left Shen Xiaoxing stunned. And he angrily slammed the door as he left. He never came back after that, and I didn't bother about him either, lying down to continue resting. When he saw me, there was not a word of comfort, only scolding, accusing me of being unrepentant and telling me to hurry up and die if that's what I wanted. The next morning, I was startled awake by the sound of knocking on the door. He also warned me, saying that a shrew like me who makes unreasonable trouble isn't worthy of being his wife. And if I keep making a scene, he'll divorce me. Shen Xiaoxing's guard, Xiao Li, stood at the door with a sour expression, holding breakfast. The chief asked me to bring you breakfast. I didn't give Xiao Li a friendly look and spoke sharply. Put it over there. Xiao Li placed the breakfast on the table. His gaze fixed on my face. I stared back coldly. What are you looking at? You've delivered the stuff. Now get lost. I've always been kind to others and never put on airs. Which is why Shen Xiaoxing's guards have always seen me as an easy target, especially this Xiao Li, who is from the same hometown as Song Kua and sides with her, has been subtly targeting me all along. Seeing me suddenly so assertive, Xiao Li was startled, then quickly became furious. What's your attitude? Last night, you were so jealous that you drove the chief to sleep in the office, and today, even though the chief has been so humble, you still refuse to accept it. Let me tell you. Mu Nian, you'd better tone it down. Don't push the chief too far, otherwise, you'll be in big trouble. Are you threatening me? Who do you think you are? just a dog beside Song Kua, and you actually think you're important. I'm warning you to treat me with respect. If you provoke me, I'll expose all the shady dealings between you and Song Kua." As my words fell, Xiao Li's face turned pale, and without saying another word, he hurriedly left. Xiao Li's reaction really surprised me. I just warned him because I remembered how he helped Song Kua deal with me in my past life, but looking at Xiao Li's expression, so flustered and scared, could it be that he and Song Kua really have some shady dealings going on? She deliberately rolled down the stairs herself and falsely accused me of pushing her. I became secretly more vigilant. After breakfast, I went to the unit to see my supervisor again. The supervisor told me that a colleague wanted my housing allocation quota. However, the other party doesn't have much money right now and can only give me $4,000. At 1001 hash, I know that housing prices will rise in the future, and $4,000 is indeed too little, but I have no other choice. I absolutely cannot let Song Kua get the house at a low price. I agreed to the other party's offer, took the $4,000, and transferred the housing allocation eligibility to them, since I'm going to divorce Shen Xiaosheng. It's impossible to continue living here. I'll have to quit my job too. Thinking about the development over the next 30 years, I secretly formed a plan in my heart. I need to leave this place, head south to do business, and become one of the first people to get rich. With this plan in mind, I soon returned home. Pushing the door open, I discovered that Song Kua was actually sitting in my living room. Seeing me, Song Kua revealed a sarcastic smile. "Oh, so the busy one has finally returned. What are you doing here? I came to see you. You were beaten black and blue by Xiaosheng and even bled. As your neighbor, how could I not come to check on you?" Song Kua circled around me with a cheerful smile, lowering her voice viciously. "Why don't you just die? How dare you use a retreat as an advance by bringing up divorce? Do you even have the guts to divorce? If you dare divorce Xiaosheng, the sun will rise from the west." This departure lasted for over 30 years. Of course I dare to get a divorce, on the condition that you return my money. Let me tell you, Song Kua, I have no issue with you and Shen Xiaosheng having an affair. You can do whatever you want, but you must return my money. What if I don't return it? If you don't return it, I'll report you and Shen Xiaosheng for having an affair to the military district. Let's see how you two can continue to get by here after that. Song Kua's face changed. "How dare you? What am I afraid of? Everyone knows about your shady dealings with Shen Xiaosheng over the past 2 years. Shen Xiaosheng used his connections to transfer you here as his secretary, then gave you all our family's money to spend. You used my money to buy appliances, clothes, jewelry, and lived a life of luxury. All the neighbors have seen it. If the organization investigates, your dirty relationship with Shen Xiaosheng will be exposed. Xiaosheng was just helping me. Are you handicapped? Are you a dying cripple?" I sneered. "He also took our son to live with him, claiming it was to ease my burden. There are plenty of people around who need help more than you. Why does Shen Xiaosheng only help you and not others? You're an unmarried man and woman engaging in illicit affairs. The masses have sharp eyes, and everyone sees it clearly. I didn't learn the truth until I was on my deathbed." Song Kua was a bit scared. "What exactly are you trying to do? Do you realize this will ruin Xiaosheng?" "I know. But what does that have to do with me?" I sneered at Song Kua. "I'm only giving you 3 days. Return my money immediately, or the only thing waiting for you and Shen Xiaosheng is complete ruin." Song Kua left in a sorry state, throwing down a threat as she went, telling me to just wait. I'm waiting, boiling with excitement, and from then on, I was treated as their free old servant, wasting over 30 years of my life. If I don't provoke her a little, how would she make a move ahead of time? Thinking about this makes my teeth grind with hatred. If I could start over, whoever wants to be this old servant can take the role. I'm waiting for Song Kua's underhanded tricks, this time. Let's see who dies faster. Anyway, this old lady isn't doing it anymore. The next 2 days passed very peacefully. Shen Xiaosheng stayed at the military barracks and never came back. I know he's waiting for me to go apologize and make up with him. In his dreams, I don't have time to bother with him. I've been busy dealing with matters. In this life, I will leave this pair of despicable lovers and live my own life, since I'm parting ways with Shen Xiaosheng. I naturally won't let him and Song Kua have it easy. I've sold everything of value that I bought for the house. Since I'm leaving, I must prepare for a rainy day. As for the things that couldn't be sold, I gave them all away. I gave all the new clothes I bought for Shen Xiaoxing's sweater to the wife of Coach Zhong at the East End. She was very grateful and held on to me to talk. Sister Zhong asked me, "Has your chief Shen not come back these past few days?" I nodded. And Sister Zhong looked at me sympathetically. "Nyan Nyan, you are a good person, and good people are often taken advantage of. There are some things I don't want to say, but I just don't want to see you being treated this way. That Song Kua is no good, you need to be careful and guard against her. The watch can be sold first. Besides, my salary for this month hasn't been paid yet, and I won't be handing it over. I know, and I don't care anymore. Let them do whatever they want. It has nothing to do with me. But you're pregnant, even if it's just for the sake of the baby in your belly, you have to plan for yourself. Besides, even if you keep compromising and sacrificing, there's no guarantee they'll leave you alone." Sister-in-law Zhong's words hit the nail on the head. In my past life, wasn't I exactly the one who kept compromising and sacrificing, only to be schemed against by them in the end? Adding it all up, I can get back around 1,000 yuan. This money should be enough for my abortion and recovery. I nodded and said, "Sister-in-law Zhong, thank you for the reminder. I'll be careful. Even a rabbit will bite when cornered, let alone a person. If they push me too far, I won't let them off easily." Seeing that I was paying attention, Sister Zhong lowered her voice. "You, be careful of that Xiao Li beside Chief Shen. He and that Song Kua have an improper relationship." Hearing this, I immediately pressed further. "How could it be improper, Sister Zhong? I won't hide it from you. That Xiao Li is no good. He's been taking advantage of my easygoing nature to help Song Kua bully me. I need to sell the apartment first to get a sum of money." Hearing me say this, Sister Zhong's expression turned more serious. She lowered her voice. "That Xiao Li and Song Kua are having an affair. I saw it with my own eyes." At 1001 hash, Sister Zhong's words made my heart sink. I immediately thought of that day when I told Xiao Li I would expose his and Song Kua's disgraceful dealings. The look of sheer panic on his face, clutching the watch and gold ring, I rushed to the workplace despite my head injury, completely disregarding my appearance. So, is there really an improper relationship between Xiao Li and Song Kua? Seeing me in this state, the leader was surprised and asked what happened. "But doesn't Song Kua like Shen Xiaoxing?" I didn't say much. Just told my boss, "I'm short on money now, and I plan to transfer the house allocated to me. Could you help me keep an eye out for potential buyers? The price is negotiable." Why would she get involved with Xiao Li? I'm known as a nice guy at work and get along well with both my boss and colleagues. I immediately asked Sister-in-law Zhong, "How could Song Kua take a liking to Xiao Li, a security guard? I thought she's always been trying to flirt with Shen Xiaoxing." The boss agreed to help me inquire, so I went to sell the watch and gold ring again. I don't know about that, but I'm not lying. When Song Kua first came here, I saw with my own eyes Xiao Li coming out of Song Kua's house in the middle of the night, not just once, but several times. At the time, I thought they were in a relationship, until later I found out that Song Kua seemed to have taken a liking to your family's chief Shen. The watch was brand new and unused. I happened to meet a newlywed couple and sold it for 50 yuan less than what I had paid. Aunt Zhong stopped there and said no more. I pawned the ring, a total of 18 grams, for less than 1,000 yuan, but I fell into deep thought. In my previous life, Xiao Li had always been very protective of Song Kua, constantly helping her twist right and wrong to bully me, with the money from the watch and the ring. I went to the hospital and directly sought out the gynecologist to explain my purpose. A large part of the reason why Shen Xiaoxing didn't believe me was because Xiao Li was behind it all. In my previous life, I could never understand why Xiao Li would twist the truth. I always thought I had treated him well, but now, hearing what Sister Zhong said, I finally came to a conclusion. Was Xiao Li also one of Song Kua's admirers? The doctor knew me very well and, seeing that I wanted to terminate the pregnancy, earnestly tried to persuade me, charging into battle for the woman he loves. This explains clearly why Xiao Li would help Song Kua deal with me in such a way. I've made up my mind. But in the end, the doctor still refused to perform the surgery for me. Because of Sister Zhong's words, I secretly became more cautious and paid extra attention to Xiao Li and Song Kua. It was fine not to pay attention, but once I did, sure enough, I found something suspicious. Xiao Li actually sneaked off to Song Kua's house at night. I'm not sure if they're having an affair, but a man and a woman alone together in the dead of night can't be up to any good. The child wasn't aborted, and I'm in a very bad mood. Thinking back to how helpless and pitiful I was when they plotted against me in my previous life, a surge of hatred welled up inside me. I'm going to make this despicable couple pay. I took a basin and a stick from the house. I stood guard at Song Kua's doorstep and started banging loudly while shouting, "Catch the thief! Come quickly, catch the thief!" In the dead of night, the noise from me banging the basin was so loud that soon all the neighbors got up and came over to see what was happening. I pointed anxiously at Song Kua's house and said, "I went to the bathroom in the middle of the night and saw someone sneaking into Comrade Song's house. It must be a thief. We can't let this thief get away. Once the divorce is finalized, that heartless bastard will naturally and justifiably turn into nothing more than a pool of blood." No one doubted my words, especially Sister Zhong, who immediately instructed Zhong to lead people to block the back windows. The others followed me and gathered at the front door, making a commotion. After a while of ruckus, the door finally opened. Feeling half asleep, I sensed something brushing back and forth across my face, stirring an inexplicable disgust and hatred. Without thinking, I swung my hand and slapped it. Song Kua and Xiao Li appeared before the crowd. A sharp asterisk smack asterisk echoed, my palm burning hot, and I jolted fully awake. I deliberately raised my voice. "So it's Xiao Li, what are you doing at Comrade Song's house in the middle of the night?" At 1001 hash, I have something to discuss with Comrade Song. Xiao Li stammered in reply, "Something to discuss? What matter couldn't be discussed during the day that you had to talk about it at 2 in the morning? Yeah, what's going on in the middle of the night? Don't tell me you two." Sister Zhong raised her voice, and Song Kua immediately denied it. "There's nothing between us. Xiao Li was just worried about my health and came to check on me." Who would believe that? No one bought it. Someone deliberately remarked, "Could it be that Comrade Song and Xiao Li are dating? Dating is a normal thing. There's no need to be so secretive about it." "No, we are not in a relationship." Song Kua glared at me with a venomous look, repeatedly denying any other relationship with Xiao Li. Xiao Li also refused to admit it, insisting that he had only come to check on Song Kua out of concern, fearing that something might happen to her while she was sick. In the end, it was Shen Xiaosheng who arrived and dispersed the noisy crowd. I rubbed my numb hand and said, "I just had a dream where I was being chased and couldn't tell if it was reality or not. So I lashed out." The onlookers scattered after Shen Xiaosheng gave the order, and I no longer had the desire to watch the commotion, so I prepared to leave. Seeing the support arrive, Song Kua immediately began to cry. "Xiaosheng, Xiao Li and I are completely innocent. He was just worried about me and came to bring me some medicine. I never expected Comrade Mu to slander us like this." As soon as Song Kua started crying, Xiao Li also began to protest his innocence. Shen Xiaosheng scolded me with a dark expression. "All you do all day is stir up trouble. Why can't you do something proper? Don't you know that your actions could drive someone to their death?" I sneered. "I just saw someone sneaking around Comrade Song's house late at night and got worried, so I called for help. Is that wrong?" Looking at the finger marks on his face, I felt a twinge of regret. I truly wasn't pretending to be crazy. If I had known it was him touching my face, I should have slapped him a few more times. Besides, with so many guards around, why is it that no one else sneaks into Comrade Song's house in the middle of the night, except for Xiao Li? Hearing me say this, both Xiao Li and Song Kua changed their expressions, and Shen Xiaosheng also showed a suspicious look. He's no fool, otherwise, he wouldn't have risen to such a high position. Seeing Shen Xiaosheng look at them, Song Kua immediately pretended to faint and fell to the ground. Then he was rushed to the hospital. I sneered and turned back into the house. I had seen it clearly just now. Song Kua's gaze toward me was filled with extreme venom. Needless to say, she must hate me to the core. With the relationship between her and Xiao Li being exposed like this by my actions, Song Kuo clearly understood that I was already aware of their disgraceful affair. Unwilling to let her relationship with Xiao Li become public, Song Kuo had no choice but to find a way to cover it up, to eliminate me as her biggest threat. I believe Song Kuo will soon make a move. Before I came to my senses, before I knew the unspeakable things he would do to me, I could never get enough of looking at that handsome face of his, and I'm only afraid she won't act. Now that I knew what was coming, I found his face utterly repulsive no matter how I looked at it. It's only fun when we lure the enemy into our trap. In the morning, I got up and went to work. Along the way, everyone I encountered was discussing the matter between Song Kuo and Xiao Li. There are all kinds of opinions, and if I refused to apologize, I arrived at work in a cheerful mood and felt great all day. Don't you know that if you're in the wrong, you should admit it and apologize? At noon, Shen Xiaosheng came to my workplace to see me and immediately started scolding me. I'd like to know what exactly I did wrong. You took the money I saved without even asking. Don't I have the right to get it back? The matter from last night has been cleared up. It was indeed Xiao Li who went to check on Kuo because he was worried she might have an episode. There's nothing between them. Can you consider the money as a loan from me? I sneered. Whether they have a relationship or not has nothing to do with me. Did you really need to come all the way here just to tell me that? Of course, that's not the only reason I came. Mu Nian, haven't you been acting too out of line lately, just to target Kuo? You tried to slander her by insinuating she has an improper relationship with Xiao Li. Have you ever thought about how much damage that could do to a woman's reputation? I laughed in disbelief. When did I slander them? I just saw someone sneaking into Song Kuo's house and thought it was a thief. If Xiao Li was genuinely concerned about Song Kuo and wanted to check on her, couldn't he just knock on the door openly? Why did he have to sneak around like a thief? At 1001 hash, it's true love, after all. Shen Xiaosheng is still defending Song Kuo. Xiao Li didn't want to disturb the neighbors, so he didn't call out. But you, staying up late at night just to watch Song Kuo, what exactly are you trying to do? I'm warning you, I haven't settled the score with you about the last incident yet, so don't go causing any more trouble. You're so ridiculous. I already said I shouted because I thought it was a thief. I've explained it clearly enough. Are you just not understanding? Or are you deliberately picking a fight? Shen Xiaosheng slammed the table in anger. What kind of attitude is that? Song Kuo ended up in the hospital because of this incident you caused. And you still haven't realized your mistake at all. I'm not wrong. If I have to say there's a mistake, it's that I was wrong to marry you. Didn't you want a divorce? I agree. Let's get divorced right now. You can go be with whoever you want. But before the divorce, you have to return my money to me. Shen Xiaosheng still thought I was the meek and timid Mu Nian who only had him in my heart, and actually dared to glare at me with anger. I wasn't going to indulge him. If he wanted to make a scene, let's see who ends up losing face. I raised my voice while starting to wipe away tears. I've worked hard to save up for years just to prepare for having a child, and you gave all that money to Song Kuo to buy home appliances. And last time, you took my salary without even telling me and gave it to Song Kuo to buy clothes. And the time before that, you gave my salary to Song Kuo to buy cosmetics. My voice was so loud that Shen Xiaosheng's face turned ashen as he rushed to cover my mouth. I bit his hand hard. He hadn't expected me to bite him, and in pain, he released me and pushed me away. I immediately lay down and started throwing a tantrum. Didn't Shen Xiaosheng say I was an unreasonable shrew? I'm going to show him today what an unreasonable shrew looks like. I lay on the ground here, making a huge scene and recounting all the despicable things Shen Xiaosheng had done. Shen Xiaosheng couldn't stay any longer. He's someone who values his reputation. He left with a face ashen with anger. My colleagues and leaders at work, having eavesdropped for half the day, felt extremely sympathetic toward me. Several married female colleagues came to console me. While subtly probing for information about Shen Xiaosheng and Song Kuo, in my previous life, I cared too much about saving face, swallowing my grievances when bullied, believing family scandals shouldn't be aired in public, and not wanting others to look down on me. But in this life, I have no intention of staying with Shen Xiaosheng, so why should I cover up his shame? I spilled the beans about Song Kuo and Shen Xiaoxing's affair. I knew that soon the news about Song Kuo and Shen Xiaoxing would spread far and wide. With so much gossip flying around, I wanted to see if Song Kuo would be driven to despair. After work in the evening, Shen Xiaoxing was unexpectedly at home. He had his hand, which I had bitten, bandaged, and sat gloomily on the chair in the living room. I acted as if I hadn't seen him and brushed past him. Returning to the bedroom, Shen Xiaoxing had never been treated so coldly before. Every time we argued, I would shamelessly go to make up within 2 hours. Whether it was my fault or not, I always gave in first. I've been giving him the cold shoulder for several days. And today I bit him again without any intention of backing down. Shen Xiaoxing sat outside for a while and finally couldn't hold back any longer. He pushed open the bedroom door and asked, "What are we having for dinner? Eat whatever you want. Why are you asking me?" I replied coldly, "What's with your attitude, Mu Nian Nian? I haven't even settled the score with you for biting me, and you're giving me that look, and what about you injuring me?" I retorted. Shen Xiaoxing was left speechless. He looked at the wound on my forehead and fell silent for a moment. "I didn't do it on purpose. I've already apologized to you." I sneered and turned my head away. He stood at the door for a little while before patiently walking in. "Let me take you out to eat. What would you like?" "What to eat, if you have money? Hurry up and pay back your debt. You owe me quite a bit." I held out my hand. Shen Xiaoxing's forehead veins bulged. He wanted to get angry, but for some reason, he suppressed the rage in his heart. "Nian Nian, I know you're angry about me helping Song Kuo. I didn't consider your feelings before. That was my fault. I promise it won't happen again." I looked at Shen Xiaoxing as if discovering a new world. "What do you mean?" At 1001 hash. "I've made it clear to Song Kuo that from now on, she doesn't need to come to me for her matters. She can just contact the guards. She saved me before, and I've helped her find a job and done a lot for her. So that should be enough. From now on, I won't interfere in her affairs anymore. Let's just live our lives well." That sounds somewhat reasonable, but who knows if it's true or not. Anyway, I don't believe it. Shen Xiaoxing pulled me up. "Let's go out to eat. I know you need money, and from now on, I'll hand over my salary to you." I have no idea what he's really up to. I've never seen Shen Xiaoxing this gentle and considerate in 2 lifetimes. Shen Xiaoxing pulled me out the door to have dinner. On the way, we ran into Song Kuo. Her eyes were red, and when she saw Shen Xiaoxing and me, she walked unsteadily, looking pitiful as if a gust of wind could knock her over, instead of fussing over Song Kuo like he used to. Shen Xiaoxing pretended not to see her and left directly with me. I hadn't gone far when I heard Song Kuo calling out from behind me. It seemed like she had fallen. Listening to Song Kuo's cries of pain, I silently counted numbers in my heart. 123. By the time I finished counting to 3, Shen Xiaoxing turned his head. He rushed towards Song Kuo as resolutely as ever. I smiled with a sense of relief. A dog can't change its habit of eating feces. That saying couldn't be more accurate. I didn't plan on having dinner and instead went home alone. Shen Xiaoxing didn't return until late at night. He tried to push open our bedroom door, but I had locked it from the inside. Unable to enter, Shen Xiaoxing went to the guest room. In the morning when I got up, Shen Xiaoxing was also awake and had bought breakfast. He smiled at me as if nothing had happened. "I bought the fried dough sticks and soy milk you like." I sat down without any expression and began to eat breakfast. Shen Xiaoxing tried to explain. "Kuo is in very poor health, suffering from severe anemia." I put down my chopsticks. "Who are you trying to disgust so early in the morning?" Shen Xiaoxing was shocked by my cold attitude. He moved his lips, and I immediately followed up. "Don't talk to me about irrelevant people and matters. I'm not interested. It ruins my mood." Shen Xiaoxing wanted to get angry but forcibly held it back, and even tried to explain to me. "Nian Nian, I can't just ignore her. She saved me once. If it weren't for her rescuing me back then, I would have died long ago. I owe her my life." I've heard this kind of meaningless talk too many times. I put down my chopsticks. "Who you want to help is your business. I don't care. You don't need to keep mentioning that you owe her your life. If it's really so hard to choose, then marry her to repay the debt. I'm ready to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau with you anytime, anywhere." After throwing out these words, I stood up and left immediately. Shen Xiaosheng sat there watching my retreating figure. And I had no idea what he was thinking. Whatever he was thinking had nothing to do with me. After all, before this, in my previous life, I had been neglected and abandoned by him just like this. After work in the evening, Shen Xiaosheng came to my workplace to pick me up. He had bought groceries and personally cooked dinner, only realizing while cooking that he was missing quite a few things. The pots, pans, and dishes I bought with my own money are all gone. What's left are the ones Shen Xiaosheng bought himself. He sounded as if he had discovered something new. Nyan Nyan, it seems like quite a few things are missing from our home. That's right, there were too many things, and we didn't need them all, so I gave some away. I see, he didn't quite believe me. Especially since the things I gave away were either brand new or in nearly perfect condition. How could they be unnecessary? We didn't speak during the meal. Apart from the clinking of bowls and chopsticks, I kept my head down and remained silent the entire time. Shen Xiaosheng kept looking at me. I could feel his gaze, but I didn't respond. Finally, he couldn't resist speaking first. Nyan Nyan, why aren't you wearing your wedding ring? I leisurely drank half a bowl of soup before replying. I sold the wedding ring. Why are you selling it? Shen Xiaosheng asked in surprise. Why didn't he know? I replied with a half smile. Because I need money. I have no money on me, and I need to use money. No one is kind enough to give me money willingly, so since I'm short on funds, I have no choice but to sell my wedding ring. My words left Shen Xiaosheng silent. He knew how much I treasured our wedding rings. After getting married, I had always reminded him to wear his wedding ring, and he has always refused to wear it on the grounds of inconvenience. All along, it has only been me, foolishly wearing the wedding ring I prepared myself. At 1001 hash. I pushed away my bowl and chopsticks, stood up, and prepared to return to my room. After taking a few steps, Shen Xiaosheng's voice came from behind. When I get my salary, I'll buy you a new ring. I sneered without turning back, and he continued, Song Kua's health is really too weak. She's not suited for the military. I've talked with her and plan to send her back to her hometown to work, so she can be closer to her parents and family, making it easier to take care of her. Shen Xiaosheng's words made me turn my head. She agreed. Shen Xiaosheng nodded. She agreed. Song Kua is a reasonable person. She also felt that she was bothering us too much and said she would find an opportunity to apologize to you and properly clear things up. Upon hearing this, I showed an ambiguous smile. Shen Xiaosheng continued, Nyan Nyan, I really only feel gratitude towards Song Kua. I have never had any romantic feelings for her. If my previous help towards her made you misunderstand, I am very sorry. I apologize. Such things will not happen again in the future. I just looked at Shen Xiaosheng with a smile at the corner of my mouth, and he seemed a bit irritated by my gaze. Nian Nian, she has already agreed to leave this place. She's busy with the handover work these days, but she said she will find time to explain things to you. I hope you can talk to her calmly. Song Kua actually wants to meet and have a detailed discussion with me. This is good news. I've been waiting for this day for a very, very long time. I curled my lips into a smile and said, all right, please tell Song Kua that I'm ready to welcome her anytime. Song Kua came to see me 3 days later. I couldn't wait to meet her. Song Kua still looked as fragile as ever, as if a gust of wind could knock her over. However, the moment she closed the door and confirmed that only she and I were in the room, she immediately transformed into a different person. She glared at me viciously. Mu Nian Nian, you wretched woman, are you feeling proud now that you've finally managed to drive me away? Of course. Watching you slink away with your tail between your legs like a stray dog brings me great joy. As my words fell, Song Kua's face turned ashen. You set me up. Playing hard to get by threatening divorce to force Xiao Sheng to send me away. You shameless bitch. I underestimated you. You've underestimated more than just that. There are plenty of things you don't know about me. Would you like me to spell them out for you in detail? I smiled at her and said, I know about your affair with Xiao Li. I know you have your eyes on Shen Xiaosheng and want to get close to him. I know you're plotting against me. You must have prepared quite a few tricks for today, haven't you? How did you know? Song Kua was startled by my bluntness. Her arrogance vanished instantly. and she began to stammer. How I know is none of your concern. Now let me guess what you're planning to do next. You're going to fake a fall and frame me. Xiao Li is already waiting outside, ready to rush in when you scream and accuse me of hurting you. I smiled as I approached the pale-faced Song Kua. So hurry up and fall, scream for help. I'm waiting for your performance. Song Kua froze, staring at me in terror. I grabbed her hair and slammed her head hard against the nearby table. Song Kua opened her mouth to scream, but a rag was swiftly and forcefully stuffed into it. I casually picked up the brick I had prepared earlier and began smashing it into Song Kua's stomach, one blow after another. Didn't she falsely accuse me in her previous life of pushing her, causing her to lose her uterus and become unable to bear children? In this life, I'll fulfill her wish and let her get what she wanted. I continued to strike Song Kua's stomach fiercely, one blow after another. I saw her face contort and change color, and I saw blood flowing from beneath her. Only when I saw her fall into a genuine coma did I release Song Kua. Then I raised my voice and shouted, "Someone come quickly, something's happened." Xiao Li was the first to rush in. He started screaming without even looking, intentionally harming someone. How could you hurt comrade Song like this? You are too vicious. I smiled at Xiao Li and said, "Stop dawdling, quickly take her to the hospital. If we're too late, she might never wake up. After all, she's had a miscarriage with heavy bleeding. And if she loses the child, she might not be able to keep her uterus." How did you know? Xiao Li was stunned. How I know is none of your concern. Just listen to me and take her to the hospital. If we delay, she could lose her life. You don't want anyone to know you're the father of the child in her belly, do you? Xiao Li, his face pale and trembling all over, picked up the bleeding Song Kua and rushed to the hospital, and I followed along. Song Kua's uterus could not be saved. It was removed, just like in the previous life. Throughout the entire process, Xiao Li stayed outside the operating room, his face deathly pale. I stood with my arms crossed, watching Xiao Li, and couldn't stop laughing. After several hours of surgery, Song Kua was wheeled out of the operating room unconscious. I asked Xiao Li with a smile, "Aren't you going to inform your superior? Given Song Kua's current condition, your superior must be extremely anxious. How about I keep an eye on Song Kua for you while you personally go and inform Shen Xiaosheng?" Xiao Li didn't dare to inform Shen Xiaosheng. He immediately dropped to his knees in front of me. I looked at Xiao Li coldly and said, "Now you're scared. Weren't you having a great time with Song Kua? How come you didn't think about being afraid then? And you even thought about framing me to turn things around. You're dreaming too big." Xiao Li kept kowtowing non-stop until his forehead was bleeding. I watched this despicable and shameless creature coldly. Only when I saw him bleeding from his head did I slowly call for him to stop. "Hold on, what do you plan to do about this matter?" "I'll make Kua leave this place. I guarantee she'll give up any ideas and never disturb you and the chief again." "Is that so?" I laughed a few times. "No, how can you leave? Song Kua cannot go. Please, I beg you." Xiao Li continued trying to kowtow, but I waved my hand to stop him. "I have a way to make your wishes come true." When I returned home, Shen Xiaosheng was still cooking in the kitchen. For the past 3 days, he seemed like a completely different person, cooking dinner every day. Seeing me return, Shen Xiaosheng gave me a smile and said, "Wait 2 minutes. The food will be ready soon." At 1001 hash, I poured myself a glass of water and drank it slowly, while Shen Xiaosheng busied himself setting the table. He served me a large bowl of rice and said, "Eat more. Pregnant women have bigger appetites. From now on, you should eat 2 bowls." I silently took it and began to eat with my head down, while Shen Xiaosheng attentively served me dishes. After eating most of the bowl in silence, Shen Xiaosheng finally spoke up. Nyan Nyan, has Song Kua come to see you?" "She has," I nodded. "What did you talk about?" I didn't say anything. I continued eating. Shen Xiaosheng didn't get the answer he wanted, so he asked me indirectly, "Did she say when she's leaving?" "You'll have to ask her that question yourself." "I don't know." After I said this, Shen Xiaosheng's expression became somewhat stiff. I continued to eat with my head down. I knew Shen Xiaosheng must have looked for Song Kua, but just couldn't find her. Since he couldn't find her, he naturally wouldn't know what Song Kua had said to me. That's why he was worried and came to me to fish for information. To be honest, his concern for Song Kua is genuine. What a pity, I sighed inwardly. The sound of a car came from outside, and soon Xiao Li rushed in. Chief. Something's happened. Comrade Song is in trouble. Shen Xiaosheng stood up abruptly, and I also put down my chopsticks. Watching him, Shen Xiaosheng didn't look at me. His gaze fell on Xiao Li, and seeing the injury on Xiao Li's forehead, Shen Xiaosheng's expression turned extremely grim. What happened? Xiao Li didn't dare to look at me, lowering his head and pretending to wipe away tears. It's very serious. She had her uterus removed and is now unconscious in the hospital. Chief. Comrade Song, she's really in a terrible state. Shen Xiaosheng looked incredulous upon hearing Xiao Li's words. How is that possible? How could something like this happen out of the blue? Chief, please go to the hospital quickly. As Xiao Li finished speaking, Shen Xiaosheng immediately started walking. When he reached the door, I coughed, and upon hearing my voice, he stopped in his tracks. Nyan Nyan, I'm going to the hospital to check on Song Kua. I'll be back soon. I looked at Shen Xiaosheng and said word by word, Shen Xiaosheng, have you thought this through clearly? Nyan Nyan, now is not the time to act on impulse. Kua is unconscious after something happened to her, and I must go see her to figure out what's going on. Since Shen Xiaosheng had made his own decision, it was beyond my control. I nodded and stopped trying to stop him. Shen Xiaosheng left and didn't come back. I calmly washed up and went to rest, before going to bed. I checked my money. Only 5,000 yuan. This amount of money is far from enough to go south and start a business. The next morning, I was jolted awake from my sleep. When I opened my eyes, Shen Xiaosheng had already rushed to my bedside. He grabbed my collar and yanked me out of bed. How vicious you are. Mu Nian Nian. How can you be so malicious and shameless? Why did you do this to Song Kua? She was already planning to leave. Why couldn't you just let her go? Shen Xiaosheng's grip was extremely tight, making it hard for me to breathe. I clawed at his hand a few times, and only when he felt the pain did he let go of me. Mu Nian Nian, you have let me down so much. How could you do such a wicked and immoral thing? Get ready to eat prison food. I didn't say a word. Just looked at Shen Xiaosheng indifferently like that. I waited until his outburst subsided before I spoke to him. Don't you want to hear my explanation? At 1001 hash, what is there to explain? You did such a terrible thing to her and caused her such harm. As a woman, don't you understand the pain of not being able to have children? I can't forgive you for this. Fine, then don't forgive me, Shen Xiaosheng. If I've done wrong, just send me to prison. You're incorrigible, absolutely incorrigible. Don't you feel even a shred of guilt or regret at this moment? How innocent Song Kua was. He kept yelling at me for a while longer until he was completely exhausted before finally stopping. Mu Nian Nian, what are you going to do now? What do you plan to do? Leave everything to the police to handle. If you leave it to the police, you're finished. Mu Nian Nian, this is a crime. You'll be sentenced. Fine, then sentence me. I'm not afraid anyway. You're utterly stubborn. Shen Xiaosheng angrily kicked over the chair. I hit the wall a few more times, then looked at him coldly, waiting for him to speak first. In my previous life, he was the one who initiated the divorce with me, and it should be the same in this life. Sure enough, after venting his anger for a while, Shen Xiaosheng calmed down and said, Nyan Nyan, I don't want you to go to prison. Do you know, I don't want you to go to prison. I don't want to go to prison either. I nodded. You did wrong this time, and you must admit your mistake. Go find Song Kua and apologize sincerely. And then, just an apology. I pressed further. Of course not. You hurt Song Kua. This is a serious matter. You can't just do nothing to make up for it. What do I need to do to make amends? You go to the countryside and hide for a while. I'll calm down Song Kua. You hide first, and I'll bring you back after I've settled things with Song Kua. It was exactly the same words as in my previous life. He didn't mention anything about divorce, just asked me to sign an apology letter and go back to the countryside to rest during pregnancy. Waiting until everything was resolved before returning, I couldn't help but laugh. Alright, I agree. Shen Xiaosheng soon brought the apology letter for me to sign. I knew it was the divorce agreement, so I signed my name without even looking at it. Shen Xiaosheng breathed a sigh of relief after seeing me sign. Nyan Nyan, Pack your things first, I'll take you away. I nodded. I have no money. Can you give me my money? Shen Xiaoxing agreed. I don't know where he got the money from, probably borrowed it, anyway. That very night he brought back 2,000 yuan and gave it to me. I tucked the money into my pocket, keeping it close to me. On the day I was leaving, Xiao Li gave me another 3,000. This was the money that Song Kua had previously swindled from Shen Xiaoxing, which originally belonged to me. Now that it was returned to its rightful owner, I accepted it without any burden. On the day of my departure, Shen Xiaoxing had originally planned to see me off himself, but something came up at the last minute, and he stood me up again. That was just as well. I had no intention of going back to his hometown to be treated like a beast of burden, since the divorce was already finalized. The abortion became much easier. I went to the hospital to get rid of the unwanted child in my belly. Then after a month of recovery, I took 10,000 yuan and headed south by bus. The days of struggling alone away from home were both painful and joyful. Living for myself made me give it my all. I wasn't afraid of hardship or exhaustion. My only focus was on making money. After a year of hard work and struggle, I finally managed to secure my own shop through my own efforts. While purchasing wholesale goods, I ran into someone I had met before, a distant cousin from Shen Xiaoxing's hometown, whom I had only met once. Shen Xiaoxing's distant cousin was very surprised to see me. Nian Nian, what are you doing here? Do you know that Shen Xiaoxing has been looking for you for a long time? I quietly looked at Shen Xiaoxing's distant cousin as she told me that Shen Xiaoxing's mother had had an accident and was paralyzed, needing someone to take care of her. Then I called Shen Xiaoxing, and only then did he realize I hadn't gone back to his hometown. Shen Xiaoxing's distant cousin asked me, "Why did you come south to do business?" I smiled faintly and said, "Didn't Shen Xiaoxing tell you about this? You should ask him for more details. What about your child? You must have given birth by now, right? I remember you were pregnant at the time, and Shen Xiaoxing also said you were several months along when you left. At 1001 hash, the child is dead, gone." Shen Xiaoxing's cousin's eyes widened in shock. I was busy attending to the guests and didn't continue the conversation with her. I never expected Shen Xiaoxing to find me. One night after I finished work, he suddenly appeared. He was carrying several bags in his hands and called out to me affectionately. Just like before, "Nian Nian." I looked over indifferently, and he forced a smile. "I heard you were here. Nian Nian, why did you come here without saying a word? I've been searching for you everywhere. Why are you looking for me? Aren't you married? Shouldn't you be with Song Kua, loving each other forever? Why think of coming to find me?" Exposed right to his face, Shen Xiaoxing's face flushed red. He actually felt ashamed too. "Nian Nian, I didn't mean to deceive you. It's just that Song Kua was in such a miserable state back then, and she insisted it was your doing. I didn't want you to go to jail, for your sake and the baby in your belly. I had no choice but to resort to this, agreeing to divorce you and marry her. I never intended to marry her, it was just a temporary measure. I just didn't want to see you imprisoned or suffering." I couldn't help but laugh. "Shen Xiaoxing, do you really think I would believe your words? Do you still take me for the fool I used to be?" Shen Xiaoxing's expression shifted repeatedly as he offered his first humble apology. "Nian Nian, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I truly was wrong, enough. If you came here to apologize, I've received it. Whether I accept it or not is none of your concern. You may leave now. Nian Nian, I want to see our child. I bought gifts for the baby." This made me laugh so hard that tears came to my eyes. Shen Xiaoxing looked at me, completely at a loss, while I laughed for a long time, truly finding it all too ridiculous. Finally, I laughed myself out. "Shen Xiaoxing, where did you get the confidence that I would give birth to your bastard child?" Shen Xiaoxing's face turned from red to white, which was quite amusing. I continued to laugh. "You really think too highly of yourself, divorcing me to marry your beloved Song Kua, while keeping me in the dark to bear your children, carry on your family line, and take care of your parents for the rest of my life, serving as your lifelong old maid. Don't you think you're utterly shameless?" "I'm not. You are exactly that kind of person. Don't deny it. Otherwise, why would you marry Song Kua? Why were you in such a hurry to send me away? Why did it take you over a year after I left to think of contacting me? If you had even a shred of conscience, You wouldn't have abandoned me when I was pregnant, would you? Let me guess why you came looking for me. Judging by your current state, you must not be doing well, after all. Chief Shen always travels with a guard. Where's your loyal guard, Xiao Li? Shen Xiaoxing was speechless, and I continued to laugh. You picked up a worn-out shoe that Xiao Li had played with and treated it like a treasure, and now you're getting your just desserts, aren't you? Do you know why you ended up in this situation? It's because I reported you. When I left a letter for your competitor. It was you were the one who reported me. Why? He actually had the nerve to ask me why. Shen Xiaoxing, do you think I left because I knew nothing and was deceived by you? Wrong. All of this was designed by me. At this point, I have nothing to hide. I want to see the disgusting expression on Shen Xiaoxing's face when he learns the truth. I knew Xiao Li and Song Kuo were plotting against me. I knew Xiao Li and Song Kuo were having an affair. I knew Song Kuo saving you back then was fake. It was a scheme by Xiao Li and Song Kuo to deceive you, with the aim of getting you to arrange a good job for Song Kuo. I never expected you would fall for Song Kuo's act so easily, so they changed their plan at the last minute. Shen Xiaoxing's expression began to darken. I knew he was heartbroken at that moment. I know you've fallen for Song Kuo and shifted your affections elsewhere. How could someone as disgusting and filthy as you hold such a high position? So, I gave you a big gift. When you found out Song Kuo had deceived you and realized your position would be affected, you harmed Song Kuo and Xiao Li, leaving them disabled, and as a result, you lost your job. I caught my breath and looked at Shen Xiaoxing's pale face. This was all a carefully planned gift I prepared for you. Do you like my gift? Shen Xiaoxing turned livid with anger at my confession, and I continued to smile as I added fuel to the fire. You married a worn-out shoe that nobody else wanted and treated her like a treasure, then lost your chance for promotion and wealth because of her, and now you dare to dream of getting back together with me, even thinking I would bear your children. What makes you think you deserve that? Is it because you have a thick skin? Shen Xiaoxing jumped up in a rage to hit me, but I wasn't going to put up with it. Help! He's assaulting me. Harassment, while shouting. I gave him a hard kick in the groin. Shen Xiaoxing bent over in pain, and people around, hearing my cries for help, gathered around. I accused Shen Xiaoxing of harassing me, and soon some helpful people escorted him to the police station. Once the high and mighty Shen Xiaoxing was in the limelight. But now the down-and-out Shen Xiaoxing has no one to indulge him. He was fined, reprimanded, and detained overnight, then released in disgrace. He lost his job, lost everything. And then his mother at home had an accident. Shen Xiaoxing still wants to come to me and keep using me as his sucker. He thinks I love him and can be fooled by his sweet talk, but I've been given a second chance at life. How could I possibly jump back into that fire pit again? Shen Xiaoxing didn't leave. He stayed nearby the whole time. Seeing that my business was doing well, he even started scheming to win me back. But in the end, heaven couldn't stand to watch any longer. One rainy night, he was hit by a car and both his legs were crushed. Shen Xiaoxing became disabled and would have to spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair. This is his retribution. He had been asking around, hoping I would go see him. I refused. I have already seen his downfall, and I am satisfied. There is no need to disgust myself again. From now on, I will walk my path of success, and he will live his life of poverty and misery. So be it.